The Hot Boys was you, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito.
Well, it was more than that, but everybody like started going to jail, started hanging out.
Besides that, you got the Wayne, Drake, Nicki, the Hot Boys. Before that, the Ross and Cali, all them niggas come from under my umbrella. Every last one of them niggas. Ain't too many niggas ain't been up under my umbrella. If they say it or don't say it, all them niggas come from.
Man, it's looking like Lil Wayne is officially done acting like everything's all good. After Birdman went off on Turk during that wild Cash Money versus No Limit versus Zeus moment, fans started connecting dots fast. Wayne didn't even have to say a word. His silence said it all. You could feel the tension through the screen.
It's a lot of moving parts with me and Wayne. And it's important to me that I fix that.
And people instantly knew this cut way deeper than a label beef. See, these weren't just some artists thrown together for hits. They were family. The Hot Boys came up from the dirt together, turning struggle into success. Wayne always had Birdman's back, defending him for years like he was his real pops. But now, that same loyalty seems broken.
I understand our language, you feel me? But I got to say this for me. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all know y'all can't with me when y'all wanna with me. And I just wanna leave it at that, man. Like we gotta stop sending out these mixed messages to people because y'all, don't do that. You know what I'm talking about? Respectfully.
And it's hitting different because when you look back at the money drama, the endless lawsuits, the sneaky disses, it starts painting a cold picture. Birdman didn't just mess with the crew's relationships. He might have shattered the very legacy that made Cash Money Records iconic in the first place. Fans are saying Wayne's silence ain't just anger, it's disappointment. The man built his empire off loyalty, only to watch the foundation crack right in front of him. And honestly, it's wild how everything came full circle. Birdman was once the genius who helped create the Hot Boys, but now he's the reason they might never reunite again. Everything exploded at Complex Con on October 25th, 2025. The night was supposed to be a celebration of legends, Cash Money facing off with No Limit, a nostalgic showdown for the culture. But instead of unity, fans got drama, tension, and one of the most awkward moments in hip-hop history.
I met Turk, shout out to Turk, you little you ain't here, but you. We gon' you when we won't you. You heard me?
Damn!
We gon' put that bitch when we want.
At the time, it was impossible to have any type of genuine or real feelings. I was on stage. I was in performance mode. I was trying to think about the words for the next song. Honestly, so I was just trying to make sure he didn't say it at a time where it was my verse and I messed up a line.
What should have been a victory lap turned into another public fallout that reminded everyone. Some wounds in the Cash Money family still haven't healed. The night was supposed to be all about old hits, reunions, and nostalgia. A full circle moment for the fans who grew up on that Cash Money era. But instead of a heartwarming trip down memory lane, Birdman grabbed the mic and flipped the whole vibe in seconds. Out of nowhere, he started wilding, yelling, "Shout out to Turk, you a little bob. You ain't here. We gonna F with you when we wanna F with you." The whole place went dead silent. The crowd froze like they couldn't believe what they just heard. For a split second, it felt like time completely stopped.
Y'all see what's going on. I think No Limit won. That's my honest opinion. They was more organized. They was grown up about the situation.
Then boom, social media went crazy. Fans started flooding X and Instagram with clips of the outburst, tagging Turk nonstop, and pulling up old interviews trying to figure out what pushed Birdman to go off like that.
How you, man?
What's up, Moolah?
I'm booling. How you, good?
You already know.
Yeah, man. How Lil B? How Priya?
Man, Brian, good, man. He graduated from college, man.
I know, man.
Got his own little spot, you heard me?
Man, what, man?
Yeah. We'll graduate next year, bro.
People were saying, what happened this time? It was chaos online. And within minutes, Turk's name was trending everywhere. Later that night, Turk went live, keeping his cool, but making it clear he was done being disrespected. You could tell he was holding back years of frustration, speaking calmly but firmly like a man who's had enough. Then he dropped that line that shook the room. "Give me my percentage." That one sentence hit like a truth bomb. Fans instantly knew this wasn't just about pride or hurt feelings. It was about business, broken loyalty, and money that still hasn't been made right.
I gave Wayne about $400 to $500 million Drake got about $500 million, and Nicki got about $300-400 million out my pocket. No cap.
From that moment, the picture started getting clearer. If Turk's still fighting for his cut after all these years, it means there's way more behind the scenes than people ever realized. The fans started piecing it all together, and suddenly, Birdman's onstage rant didn't sound random anymore. It sounded like unfinished business finally boiling over. Maybe Birdman's been running the same game from the very start. While everyone online was losing it over his latest outburst, Lil Wayne stayed completely silent, and that quiet hit louder than any diss track ever could. It's like he didn't even need to speak, because deep down, everybody already knew what that silence meant. To really understand how far this story goes, you gotta rewind the clock, way before Cash Money blew up.
But it's all love, though. We ain't doing no tripping over here. Big YNT, man. You know, YNT, that's what's going on over here.
The name Hot Boys wasn't just some flashy marketing idea dreamed up in a studio. Nah, it came straight out of the Magnolia projects in New Orleans during the late 80s, and it had nothing to do with music at first. Back then, the original Hot Boys were real street legends. Sterling, Dooney, Mosquito, and Terrence Gangsta Williams, who just happens to be Birdman's older brother. These weren't rappers. They were respected, feared, and talked about in every corner of the city. Their name meant something long before beats and bars came into play. But things turned dark fast. The streets don't show mercy, and one by one, the original Hot Boys either got killed or ended up behind bars. The only one who lived long enough to see what the name became was Gangsta Williams. And by that time, Birdman had already flipped the meaning completely. He took that street legend and turned it into a symbol of power, money, and fame. When Birdman used the name Hot Boys for his rap group, it wasn't random. It was a move that showed exactly how strategic he really was. He took something that started in the trenches and transformed it into a global brand. What used to be whispered about in the projects was now blasting on every radio station in America. It was genius, but it also meant the legacy of those original men would forever be tied to Birdman's empire, whether people liked it or not. That legacy turned out to be both a blessing and a curse. By the mid-1990s, Birdman and his brother Slim had officially turned Cash Money Records into a powerhouse label. But to make it shine, they needed a crew that could represent New Orleans the same raw, fearless way the original Hot Boys did. And that's when the new generation stepped in. Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG, the new age Hot Boys. These young dudes had it all: the look, the hunger, and the unstoppable energy. Birdman instantly saw dollar signs and wasted no time turning them into a movement. He promoted them like icons before they even had platinum plaques. Soon, the Hot Boys were everywhere, on mixtapes, music videos, magazine covers, and every stage that mattered, dripping in flashy jewelry, pulling up in luxury cars, and shouting out loyalty to baby like it was gospel. And it worked, big time. Albums like Get It How You Live and Guerrilla Warfare didn't just sell records, they built an empire. The world fell in love with the chemistry, the swagger, and the brotherhood. But behind the glitz, something darker was brewing. That loyalty Birdman preached came with a heavy price tag. He kept his hands on everything: the contracts, the royalties, the publishing, the money flow. You name it. He owned the dream, and everyone else was just living in it. At first, nobody dared question it. Birdman played the part of the father figure, the boss, the provider, the man who made millionaires out of kids from the projects. But as the fame grew, so did the confusion. The numbers weren't adding up, and whispers started spreading. Then, the first major crack hit. Juvenile walked away, calling out the label over missing payments. His exit sent shockwaves through the crew, and fans started realizing that maybe the family bond Birdman bragged about wasn't as solid as it seemed. The cracks in the Cash Money empire had just started to show, and they were about to get a whole lot bigger. After Juvenile bounced, BG followed right behind, blasting Birdman and calling him a straight-up crook. Then things got even worse. Turk ended up locked up, and when he finally came home, he expected to see the money he'd earned waiting for him. But what did he find? Nothing. The cash he thought he had was gone, like it never existed. Through all that chaos, Lil Wayne stayed loyal. He stood beside Birdman in interviews, calling him Pops, defending him like family, and refusing to air any dirty laundry. But deep down, even Wayne started feeling that something wasn't right. The math wasn't mathing. The checks weren't adding up. And every time he asked questions, the answers got murkier. Birdman wasn't just the CEO. He was the gatekeeper. Nobody moved unless he said so. And if you dared to challenge him, your career went cold overnight. Wayne might have been the youngest out the crew, but he wasn't naive. He saw what happened to the others and started making quiet moves behind the scenes, plotting his own escape from the very label that made him a star. By the time 2015 hit, Wayne had reached his breaking point. He'd had enough of empty promises and missing millions. He filed a $51 million lawsuit against Birdman and Cash Money Records, claiming he was owed an $8 million advance and another $2 million once Thought Carter 5 was finished. But that wasn't all. He also accused Birdman of holding back profits from his own label, Young Money Entertainment. That was the bombshell that shook the entire hip-hop world. Fans couldn't believe it. Birdman, the same man Wayne called Pops, was allegedly pocketing the profits while Wayne kept the brand alive, building stars like Drake and Nicki Minaj. What started as a family turned into a battlefield, and Wayne's fight for his money became one of the biggest legal showdowns in rap history. The loyalty was gone, and all that was left was betrayal. Millions and silence that spoke louder than any diss track ever could. Birdman denied everything. He swore up and down that he never held Lil Wayne's music hostage or blocked Thought Carter 5 from dropping. But behind the scenes, Wayne was furious. That album was supposed to be his biggest comeback, his most personal project, and it kept getting delayed for years because of the same shady business drama. The streets were buzzing, fans were begging for answers, and Wayne was stuck in limbo, watching his masterpiece collect dust while Birdman acted like nothing was wrong. Finally, in 2018, they reached a settlement rumored to be worth over $10 million. But the story didn't end there. Not long after, Birdman jumped online bragging that he'd given Wayne $400 to $500 million. Everybody knew that was cap. Nobody believed those numbers, not even close. And even though they hugged it out for the cameras, the fans saw right through it. That reunion was all for show. The tension was still there, hiding under fake smiles and photo ops. To be fair, Birdman's been defending himself for years, at least in public. He keeps saying everyone got paid, that folks just don't understand the business. He claims he's handed Wayne hundreds of millions through Universal's distribution deals, but every time he throws out those numbers, they never match the receipts. The math just doesn't add up. What makes it worse is how Birdman keeps flaunting his wealth. Private jets, diamond-encrusted watches, designer fits, and expensive gifts splashed all over social media. Meanwhile, a lot of his former artists are still grinding to rebuild their lives, or still waiting on the royalties they were promised decades ago. That's the part that stings the most. It's like watching the man who built his empire off their talent keep living large while they're left picking up the pieces. For fans, it's not just about the money anymore. It's about respect, loyalty, and the legacy that might never fully heal. Birdman built his entire empire on two things, loyalty and family. But when the money started talking, that family disappeared faster than anyone expected. For a while, it looked like the chaos had finally settled down. No new drama, no public feuds. Then out of nowhere, in 2022, came the plot twist nobody saw coming. Terrence "Gangsta" Williams, Birdman's older brother and one of the original Hot Boys, was released from prison after serving over 23 years. His release sent shockwaves through the entire hip-hop world. Fans couldn't believe it, and even Birdman looked caught off guard. Gangsta didn't waste a second. He started doing interviews, speaking openly about the real Hot Boys, the ones from the streets, and the true origins of Cash Money. He broke down the early days in New Orleans, the hustles, the grind, and how the name Hot Boys came straight from real-life legends who risked everything long before the fame ever hit. And then came the bombshell. Gangsta basically confirmed what fans had suspected for years. Birdman had used the Hot Boys name, their street reputation, and even parts of their story to build his label, but never gave credit where it was due. He flipped their legacy into a brand, made millions off it, and then erased their names from the narrative. When people asked Birdman how he felt about his brother finally coming home, his reaction, or rather his lack of one, said everything. He acted like Gangsta didn't even exist. No public welcome, no post, no acknowledgement. That silence spoke louder than any diss. It showed that in Birdman's world, loyalty only flows one way, toward him. Now, almost 30 years later, the legacy of the Hot Boys still hangs in limbo. BG is finally free again, Juvenile keeps performing solo, and Turk is out here doing interviews, still calling Birdman out for his broken promises. And as for Lil Wayne, he's too rich, too scarred, and too far gone to ever look back. What was once a brotherhood built on loyalty has turned into a history lesson in betrayal, silence, and lost respect. Now that the dust is settled, the truth about Cash Money hits harder than ever. What started as a dream in the heart of New Orleans turned into one of hip-hop's most powerful and most toxic dynasties. The name Birdman still carries weight in the game, no doubt about it, but so does the shadow that follows him. Every time he flashes those diamonds or hops off a private jet, people remember the stories, the lawsuits, the unpaid royalties, the artists who walked away broke after making him million. The craziest part? Even with all the tension, Birdman and Wayne's connection will always be deeper than business. They built an empire together, changed the sound of a whole generation, and birthed superstars like Drake and Nicki Minaj who still carry that Young Money legacy today. But the loyalty that once held them tight got replaced with contracts, lawyers, and silence that says more than words ever could. And it's not just about the music anymore. It's about legacy. The Hot Boys' name started in the trenches, became a symbol of street hustle, and then evolved into one of rap's most iconic brands. But now, it's a bittersweet reminder of what happens when fame and money twist the meaning of family. Fans are still holding on to hope that one day we'll see a real reunion. A moment where Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG share the stage again. No lawsuits, no grudges, just pure history being made. But deep down, everyone knows how unlikely that is. Too much pain, too many burned bridges, too many secrets buried under that Cash Money logo. Even now, new artists look at that story as a lesson. Never sign blind, never let loyalty blind you, and never forget who controls the money. Birdman may still be sitting at the top surrounded by luxury and legacy, but the whispers never stop. People still question how a label that gave the world so much could leave behind so many broken bonds. The Hot Boys gave their youth, their talent, their loyalty, and in return got a story that's still unfolding decades later. In the end, the music will always live on. But the truth? That's the part that keeps haunting the Cash Money legacy. One beat, one lawsuit, one silence at a time. Fans keep begging for a Hot Boys reunion, but let's be real, those wounds run way too deep. Birdman might have built the brand that made history, but in the process, he broke the bond that held it all together. The Hot Boys weren't just another rap crew. They were a brotherhood born out of loyalty, struggle, and survival. They came from the same streets, chased the same dream, and built a legacy that changed hip-hop forever. But once money, ego, and pride got in the mix, that unbreakable brotherhood started cracking until it finally collapsed. And now, with Birdman back throwing slick disses and flaunting his power like nothing ever happened, it's clear, this story's far from over. Every time Lil Wayne goes quiet, every time Turk speaks his truth, and every time Birdman hops online bragging about millions, it reminds everyone that behind the platinum plaques and luxury cars was a family that never healed. The pain runs deeper than contracts or unpaid checks. It's about respect, trust, and closure that money can't ever buy. Because when you strip away the fame and the business deals, what's left is a crew of men who built something legendary, but couldn't keep it together. And that's what stings the most. So here's the real question. If Birdman still owes them millions, what else does he owe them that no dollar amount can ever fix? Maybe it's an apology, maybe it's recognition, or maybe it's too late for either. But one thing's for sure, the Hot Boys' legacy will always live on in hip-hop history, even if the people behind it never stand on the same stage again. If you made it this far, show some love. Drop a like, hit that comment section, share this story with someone who remembers the old Cash Money days, and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. This saga's still unfolding, and you know we'll be here breaking it all down next time.